distance from nucleus to the outermost shell of the electron, then it is considered as atomic radius. Along the group, electrons are added to different shell. When electrons are added to different shell, as well as atomic number also increases, van der Waals radius also increases. What do you mean by ionic radius? When we can say it is a ion, when the element loses one electron, then we can say that it is an ionic state. Hello everyone, I am Venu Prasad, Department of Chemistry, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today I am going to do Unit 3, Classification of Elements and Periodicity and Properties. Okay, that is Session 2. Let us study today D block elements and its characteristics, F block elements and its characteristics, metals, non-metals and metalloids, periodic trends in properties of elements, van der Waals radius, ionic radius, ionization enthalpy and its variation in periodic table. Now let us study what are D block elements and its characteristics. Okay, what are D block elements? Here D block elements are also called as transition metals. Why these elements are considered as transition metals? Because here electrons are added to penultimate shell and its general electronic configuration is n-1 into D, ns1 to 2. Okay, here n-1 into D, 1 to 10. Here D orbital can fill 10 electrons and in s orbital you can fill 2 electrons, and it is a general electronic configuration of D block elements. Okay, next, these elements in which the last electrons enters the D subshell. Here last electrons enters into the D subshell of the penultimate energy level. They are called as penultimate energy level and they are called as D block elements, and group 3 to 12 are called as transition elements. Now let us study the characteristics of D block elements. Okay, here they are all metals with high melting point and boiling point. They are the metals with high melting point and boiling point, and they are form colored complexes. Always they form colored complexes. Why they form colored complexes? Because generally D block elements has got unpaired electrons and they have the capacity to form the complexes. When the elements has got unpaired electrons, they show color always. So always D block elements are always colored complexes. Okay, next thing is they show variable oxidation state. Why they show variable oxidation state? Just because they have got unpaired electrons. For example, now let us take chromium. Okay, what is atomic number of chromium? Its atomic number is 24. We can write general electronic configuration as argon 3d5 4s1. Okay, here capacity of d orbital is 10, but how much it has been filled? Only 5. Only 5 electrons has been filled, and in s orbital only 1 and 5. In d orbital only 5 electrons are present. So we can say that here chromium shows different oxidation state because it has got unpaired electrons. Did you understand? Next thing is they exhibit paramagnetism. Why they exhibit paramagnetism? Always paramagnetism appears only when the metal has got unpaired electrons. Here all the D block elements has got unpaired electrons. So we can say that all the elements shows paramagnetism. Okay. Next thing is a large number of D block elements such as iron, cobalt, nickel, manganese, platinum, vanadium act as a catalyst, as well as D block elements are also used as catalyst. What is the role of catalyst in the reaction? To increase the rate of the reaction. Okay. Next thing is F block elements. Here F block elements are also called as inner transition metals. Why these elements are considered as inner transition metals? Because just here last electron enters into the anti-penultimate shell. Here you see, here D orbital has got a capacity of filling 10 electrons, but we are filling only 1 electron to the D orbital and remaining electrons are filled to the F orbital. So that is called as anti-penultimate shell. Okay, so this is the general electronic configuration of F block elements. N-2 into F, 1 to 14, N-1 into D, 0 to 1, Ns1 to 2. These are the general electronic configuration of F block elements. Okay, next thing is the elements in which last electron enters into the F subshell. So I have said that it is an anti-penultimate shell. So they are called as F block elements. These elements are also called as inner transition elements. These elements are also called as inner transition elements, and they consist of two series. They have got two series, which and all? or they are placed at the bottom of the periodic table. They are placed at the bottom of the periodic table. Okay, the elements first series follow lanthanum. Its atomic number starts from 57 and they are also called as lanthanides. Lanthanides, cerium to ruthenium. From 58 to 71, they are also called as lanthanides. Next thing is the elements with second series. Elements with second series, they follow actinium series. They are called as actinoids. Actinoids. Elements starting from atomic number 89. 89 to lawrencium 103. They are also called as inner transition elements, or also called as actinoids. Okay. Here in F block elements, they have got two types. One is lanthanides and another one is actinides. Lanthanides atomic number starting from 58 to 71. They are called as lanthanides. The elements with atomic number from 89 to 103. They are also called as actinides. Okay. Next thing is characteristics of F block elements. Why these elements show variable oxidation state? Because we know that in F block elements, electrons are entering into the anti-penultimate shell. Why? Here, general electronic configuration is n-2 into F, 1 to 14, n-1 into D, 0 to 1, ns, 1 to 2. Okay, here we can remove 2 electrons from s orbital and 1 electron from d orbital. So always F block element shows +3 oxidation state. Always it shows +3 oxidation state, and it is a common oxidation state for F block elements. Okay, and the most of the elements of actinide series are radioactive in nature, and it is a radioactive in nature. Always F block elements are, they are called as inner transition elements, but here most of the elements of actinoid series, elements starting from atomic number 103, 89 to 103, they are also called as radioactive elements. Okay, next thing is periodic trends in properties of elements they have said. Okay, next first thing is atomic radius. What do you mean by atomic radius? It's a distance from the nucleus to the outermost shell of the electron. Distance from nucleus to the outermost shell of the electron, then it is considered as atomic radius. Okay, just this is one atom, this is one nucleus, and electrons will be outside. This is a nucleus. Okay, it's a distance between the nucleus and outermost shell of the electron. Okay, next thing is, it is not possible to measure the absolute value of atomic radii of element. Hence, atomic radii can be expressed as covalent radius. Okay, we cannot directly measure its perfect measurement, we cannot find out. So, we can call it as in terms of covalent radius. What do you mean by covalent radius? It is the 1/2 of the distance between center of the nuclei of two similar atoms bonded by single bond. Okay, so covalent radius is equal to internuclear distance between bonded atom divided by 2. Covalent radius is equal to internuclear distance divided by 2, they have said. Okay, next thing is metallic radius. What do you mean by metallic radius? It's the half of the distance between, the center of the nuclei of two adjacent atoms in a metallic crystal. Half of the distance between center of the nuclei of two adjacent atoms, then it is called as metallic radius. Okay, here the solid copper is in the solid state, and the distance between two adjacent copper atoms is 256 picometer. The metallic radius is always 128. Okay, here you see 256 they have given, means whole, but what we have to find metallic radius means it's the half of the distance between two metal atoms they have said. So 256 divided by 2 is how much? 128. Correct, right? Next thing is van der Waals radius and its variation in the periodic table. Okay, here let us see the definition. It is the 1/2 of the distance between nuclei of two adjacent atoms of neighboring molecule. It's a 1/2 of the distance between the nuclei of two adjacent atoms of a neighboring molecule. Then it is called as van der Waals radius. And variation of atomic radii in periodic table. We can say that van der Waals radius also can be related to atomic radii. How does it vary along the period they have said, as well as group. Okay, but in along the period, what will happen? Electrons are added to same shell, but in along the period, atomic number also increases. Atomic number increases, but electrons are added to same shell. So what will happen? Van der Waals radius, what can we say that here? Just we can say that Van der Waals radius will be almost constant or decreases along the period because electrons are added to same shell even though atomic number is increased. But along the group, what will happen? Here along the group, electrons are added to different shell. When electrons are added to different shell, as well as atomic number also increases, Van der Waals radius also increases. Okay, next thing is ionic radius and its variation in the periodic table. What do you mean by ionic radius? It is defined as effective distance from the nucleus of the ion, to the point up to which it has got influence on the electron cloud. What do you mean by ionic radius? When we can say it is a ion, when the element loses one electron, then we can say that it is an ionic state. Let us take one example. Sodium, if it loses one electron, it goes to ionic state. It loses one electron and it goes to ionic state. Okay, next we have to say that always the size of the cation is smaller when compared to that of parent atom. We should know that size of the cation is very small when compared to parent atom. Okay, here we should know that how does it vary along the periodic table they have set. Okay, first thing, along the period we can see ionic radius. What will happen? First of all, atom will be there. Atoms, one electron it will lose. When it loses one electron, again what will happen? Its size decreases. Okay, but along the period, what will happen? Just we should think that along the period, electrons are added to same shell. Okay, next, when electrons are added to same shell, ionic radius decreases. Okay, but along the group, what we have to study? In along the group, electrons are added to different shell, but ionic radius increases along the group because electrons are added to different shell. When electrons are added to different shell, 100% there will be increase in ionic radius. But when electrons are added to same shell, even though atomic number is increasing, then we can say that ionic radius decreases. Okay, next thing is ionization enthalpy and its variation in the periodic table. Can we say some definition of this? Here just we have to think that ionic energy they have said. What is the ionization energy? It is the amount of energy required to remove an electron from the outermost shell of a gaseous atom. When the atom is in the gaseous state, we have to remove one electron. When we are removing some amount of electrons, what we require? We need some amount of energy. That energy is considered as ionization energy. Okay, it's the amount of energy required to remove an electron from the outermost shell of a neutral gaseous atom. Okay, that is considered as ionization energy. Now let us study along the periodic table. Okay, in ionization energy decreases along the group, increases along the period. Why ionization energy increases along the period? Because electrons are added to same shell. When atomic number increases, what will happen? Ionic radius decreases. It will be nearer to the nucleus. When it is nearer to the nucleus, force of attractions will be more between the nucleus and outermost shell. So what will happen? We need larger amount of ionization energy to remove an electron from the outermost shell. Okay, but along the group, what will happen? Along the group, electrons are added to different shell. When electrons are added to different shell, force of attraction between the nucleus and outermost shell will be very less. Correct, right? So what will happen? We can say that ionization energy decreases along the group because force of attraction between the nucleus and outermost shell decreases. So ionization energy decreases along the group, increases along the period. Okay. In next session, we will be studying about isoelectronic species. Okay. Thank you.